Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I've got some really exciting news for you, especially if you're a pensioner or know someone who's about to retire. Starting January 1st, 2026, Germany is introducing something called the active pension, and it could be a real game changer for millions of people. Pensioners will be allowed to earn up to €2,000 a month, tax-free. Yes, you heard that right, €2,000, completely tax-free boob. But before we dive into all the details, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring the bell so you don't miss any important updates. Let's get started. So, what exactly is this active pension? Basically, it is a new regulation from the German government that allows pensioners to earn more money on the side without having to pay taxes on it. Until now, many pensioners who wanted to earn a little extra quickly hit their limits. Either their side income was fully taxed, or there were complicated allowances that were hard to understand. The active pension makes it all much simpler and more attractive. The idea is to give pensioners the opportunity to stay active, continue using their skills and experience, and at the same time boost their pensions without the government taking too big of a slice. Why is Germany introducing this rule? Well, there are several reasons. First, Germany has an aging society. More and more people are retiring, while fewer young people are entering the workforce. This leads to a shortage of skilled workers in many sectors. Many pensioners have decades of valuable experience and knowledge that are crucial for companies and society. Through the active pension, the government wants to create an incentive for these people to keep sharing their expertise. Second, for many pensioners, their pension simply isn't enough. The cost of living is rising, inflation is noticeable, and many people want to maintain their standard of living or treat themselves in their later years. The active pension gives them the chance to supplement their income without giving too much of it back. Third, it's also about social participation. Many pensioners don't want to just sit at home, they want to stay active, maintain social contacts, and feel useful. For many people, work is more than just earning money. It's an important part of their identity and social life. Now, let's look at the specifics. What does it mean exactly that pensioners can earn up to €2,000 tax-free? First of all, this rule applies to all pensioners who have reached the regular retirement age. This means if you're receiving your full state pension, you can benefit from this regulation. The €2,000 is a monthly allowance. Everything you earn up to this limit remains completely tax-free. You don't have to pay any income tax on it. This is a huge advantage because, until now, side income was often taxed at your personal tax rate, which could get quite expensive depending on your total income. With the active pension, that's different. The first €2,000 per month are protected. But what happens if you earn more than €2,000 a month? There's an answer for that too. Anything above that €2,000 threshold will be taxed normally, according to your personal tax rate. But the allowance still applies. So, even if you earn €3,000 a month, the first 2,000 are tax-free, and only the remaining €1,000 are taxed. This is still a big advantage compared to the old system. It's also important to know that this allowance is independent of your pension. Your pension will be taxed normally, just as before, but the €2,000 of additional earnings remain tax-free. What types of work are possible with the active pension? Basically, there are no restrictions. You can work as an employee, be a freelancer, take on a mini-job, or work for yourself. The active pension applies to all types of earned income. This gives you great flexibility. Maybe you used to work in a certain field and now want to offer your expertise as a consultant. Or maybe you have a hobby you want to turn into a profession. Or you just want to take a part-time job to be around people and earn a little extra. All of this is possible with the active pension and is tax-advantaged. Now, many of you are probably wondering, how does this affect my Social Security contributions? That's an important question. If you work as a pensioner, you still have to pay Social Security contributions, but with a few special features. As a full pensioner, you usually don't have to contribute to the pension insurance anymore, but you can do so voluntarily to further increase your pension. However, you do have to pay health insurance contributions if you're publicly insured. Contributions will be due on your work income. There is a special point here. The tax-free portion of the active pension is also used to calculate your health insurance contributions. This means that even if you don't pay taxes, you still have to pay health insurance contributions on the €2,000. You should factor that into your planning. As for unemployment insurance, you generally don't have to pay contributions as a pensioner, and that also applies with the active pension. What about long-term care insurance? You have to pay contributions for this as a pensioner. The amount depends on your total income, including your extra earnings from the active pension. It's important to understand that while the active pension is tax-free, it is not free of Social Security contributions. This means you will definitely save money compared to the old system because you won't pay taxes, but the Social Security contributions still apply. Nevertheless, you'll have significantly more left over than before. What impact does the active pension have on your existing pension? This is one of the most common questions. The good news is your pension won't be reduced. If you receive your regular state pension and then earn extra with the active pension, your pension remains at its full amount. This used to be different. There were income limits, and exceeding them could lead to a partial reduction of your pension. That rule has already been relaxed in recent years, and with the active pension, it's now even simpler. You can earn the full €2,000 without worrying about your pension suffering. On the contrary, your total income will increase significantly. Let's run through a concrete example. Let's say you receive a monthly pension of €1,500. Without the active pension, you'd have to live on that minus taxes on the pension and health and long-term care insurance contributions. Now, with the active pension, you earn an additional €2,000 a month. These €2,000 are tax-free. However, you have to pay health and long-term care insurance contributions on them, let's say about 15%, which is €300. That means out of the €2,000, you're left with about €1,700 net. Together with your pension of €1,500, you then have a total income of €3,200 a month. This is a significant improvement in your financial situation. Let's compare that to the situation without the active pension. If you were to earn those €2,000 under the old rules, you'd have to pay both taxes and Social Security contributions on them. Depending on your personal tax rate, that could easily be 40% or more. Out of €2,000, you might only have about €1,200 left. With the active pension, you have an extra €500 a month, which is €6,000 more per year. That's a huge difference and shows just how beneficial this new regulation is, which industries and sectors could particularly benefit from the active pension. There are a few that are already showing great interest. In the skilled trades, for example, there's a massive shortage of workers. Many pensioners have decades of experience as electricians, plumbers, carpenters, or in other trades. This expertise is incredibly valuable. The active pension makes it more attractive for these professionals to continue working in their field, whether as consultants, part-time employees, or on a project basis. In the care sector, where the staff shortage is particularly severe, experienced pensioners could play a vital role. Many retired nurses and caregivers would love to continue helping, but the previous regulations weren't attractive enough. That changes with the active pension. There's also great potential in the education sector. Retired teachers could offer tutoring, run courses, or work as substitute teachers. Their experience and teaching skills are in high demand. In consulting, pensioners can contribute their decades of professional experience. Many companies are looking for experienced consultants for specific projects. The active pension makes it more appealing for pensioners to take on such assignments. In retail and hospitality, where flexible workers are needed, pensioners could fill important gaps. And let's not forget the creative industries. Many pensioners have creative talents, whether in art, writing, photography, or other areas. With the active pension, they can now monetize these talents more effectively. However, there are also critical voices about the active pension. Some unions and social organizations warn that the regulation has problematic aspects. One criticism is that it might increase the pressure on pensioners to keep working in old age because their pensions are insufficient instead of raising pensions across the board. The critique goes, people are expected to work even in retirement. Another point of criticism is that the active pension could lead to the displacement of younger workers. If pensioners with their experience are available on the job market under attractive conditions, employers might prefer them over younger applicants. This could increase youth unemployment or make it harder for young people to enter the job market. On the other hand, there are many supporters of the active pension. Employer associations welcome the regulation because it helps to alleviate the skilled worker shortage. Many companies have been desperately looking for qualified staff and are grateful for any opportunity to gain experienced workers. Many pensioners themselves also view the active pension positively. They appreciate the opportunity to stay active, pass on their knowledge, and improve their income at the same time. Studies show that work in old age, as long as it's voluntary and not too strenuous, can have a positive effect on health and well-being. Social contacts, feeling needed, and having a daily structure are important factors for a fulfilling life in old age. So, how can you actually use the active pension? If you're a pensioner and are considering taking advantage of this regulation, there are a few steps to keep in mind. First, you should think about what kind of work you want to do. What are your skills and interests? How much time do you want to invest? Do you want to be an employee or work flexibly as a freelancer? Once you have an idea, you can start looking for suitable opportunities. This can be through traditional job boards, specialized platforms for pensioners and part-time workers, or through personal contacts and networks. When you find a position, you should get informed about the contractual details. What's the salary? What are the working hours? What social security contributions will apply? It might be wise to consult a tax advisor or a counseling center to make sure you understand all the rules and can use them optimally. You should also contact the tax office and inform them of your new situation. Although the active pension income is tax-free, you still have to declare it in your tax return. The tax office will then check if and to what extent taxes are due. It's also important to inform your health insurance. As mentioned, health insurance contributions have to be paid on the active pension income. Your health insurance provider will adjust your contributions accordingly. If you're privately insured, different rules apply. Your premium doesn't depend on your income but is fixed. Nevertheless, you should inform your insurance about your new situation. You should also inform your pension insurance, even though your pension itself won't change. It's important that all relevant authorities are aware of your situation to avoid problems later on. Another important point is the balance between work and health in old age. Just because the active pension is attractive, you shouldn't overwork yourself or endanger your health. It's crucial that the work suits you and doesn't overwhelm you. Think carefully about how many hours you want to and can work. Many pensioners opt for part-time models or project-based work that gives them more flexibility. The most important thing is that the work brings you joy and enriches your life, not causes additional stress. What does the future of the active pension look like? The regulation comes into effect on January 1st, 2026, and is initially planned to be indefinite. However, the government will certainly monitor its effects closely. It's conceivable that the regulation will be adjusted in the coming years, depending on how it's received and what effects it has. The tax-free allowance might be increased in the future if the regulation proves to be successful. There could also be additional incentives, for example, for certain in-demand professions or regions with a particularly severe skilled worker shortage. Internationally, Germany is not the first country to introduce such regulations. Many other countries already have similar models to keep older people in the workforce longer. In Scandinavian countries, for example, there have been flexible pension systems for years that allow combining a pension with work. In the US, it's also common for pensioners to continue working. The experience from these countries shows that such regulations can work if they are well designed. But they also show that it's important to ensure that work in old age is truly voluntary and not driven by financial necessity. For employers, the active pension also opens up new opportunities. They can now specifically target pensioners as employees and make them attractive offers. Many companies are already developing special programs for older workers that offer flexible hours, adapted tasks, and an appreciative corporate culture. The goal is to utilize the experience and knowledge of the older generation while considering their needs. This can also have positive effects on the collaboration between younger and older employees, fostering knowledge transfer and mentoring. In conclusion, the active pension is a significant innovation in the German pension system. It offers pensioners the opportunity to significantly increase their income without facing high tax burdens. The tax exemption of up to €2,000 a month is a strong incentive to stay active in retirement. At the same time, the regulation helps to alleviate the skilled worker shortage and make better use of the expertise of older people. Of course, there are also critical aspects,